I'm Libby, and today we are going to be talking about The Stand by Mr. Stephen King. So, I'm currently reading this. One of my goals this year is to read three, maybe four, like enormous books. And this counts as being enormous because it's literally like, I mean, come on. This is a blunt object. If you got up enough velocity in your swing, you could probably knock somebody out if you slapped them in the head with this, honestly. And it comes in at a whopping 1200 pages. This isn't even a book anymore. It's a blunt object, you know? Yeah. And the goal is to read this in 4 months. I think I'm on track to read it at least in 2 because I am, you know, listening to like the equivalent of between 50 to 100 pages a day just because I'm enjoying the story. It's got me super engaged. It keeps pulling me in every time I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop. And therefore, I think I'm going to finish this in about 2 months, which might buy me enough time to read an extra big book this year, but we'll see about that. But for now, we're talking about The Stand. And what I'm going to do with this is very similar to what I did with Crime and Punishment over a year ago when I first read it, is I'm going to do like a series of short little checkpoints when I get to certain places in The Stand. So now that I'm done with part one, we're going to talk about part one here. And then in the next video, the next checkpoint, we'll talk about part two, and so on and so forth. However many parts there are, which I'm not sure about yet. But in part one, obviously it's going to be the build up. It's going to give us the foundation of what The Stand even is. So we learn a lot about this virus, this super flu. It's just pretty much coming on the scene, and people are getting sick and they're dropping like flies left to right, and they're trying to figure out where it's come from. They don't know. And honestly, I don't even know if we can say this word on the tube anymore, but giving a certain it's giving a certain pandemic, that happened 5 years ago, that swept the nations 5 years ago. Except, obviously, it's, I don't want to say sensationalized, but it is. And it's at a, it's at a much larger scale because people are literally dropping like flies. And a lot of that is happening in part one, while simultaneously you're obviously being introduced to the main four protagonists, and which are going to be Franny Goldsmith, who I like her chapters a lot. I've grown to like her chapters a lot. And then we have Stu Redman, who I didn't really care for in the beginning, because his chapters were very like almost technical, where we were learning a lot about the virus. And then we have Larry Underwood, who is a very compelling character because he starts out snotty. Okay. He starts out snotty. All right. And he's growing, and he grows tremendously even in part one, which was really cool to see. And then we have the last character who I almost forgot was a character because, as I mentioned before, in part one, it's a lot of building the story. It's building the lore, if you will, of what this super flu is, what's happening in the United States, why are people dying? They don't know. They're trying to figure it out. So between each character introduction, we get all this background knowledge, all of this info dumping, if you will. And sometimes it was hard for me to remember who was who. And I forgot about this last character, Mr. Nick Andros. I forgot about him. I forgot he was even a thing, even a factor, which is pretty sad, but that's the amount of information that we're getting building this story. So Nick Andros is the fourth, and their characters are, oh my goodness, and their chapters are spaced far apart, which makes the story feel less character driven at first and more like a panoramic view of an apocalypse unfolding, which is exactly what is happening. And one of the things that I really love about the way Stephen King strung this all together in part one is that each character, they have to deal with monumental loss. They have to lose basically everything, including the people around them, not even just their loved ones, but like everyone around them where they are, except for maybe a few different people. And it really makes you feel for them, because just imagine if that was the world that we lived in, and you woke up one day and like everything you knew was completely different. Life was turned upside down. People are dropping like flies. People are dying around you. Your loved ones dying in your arms. Like this this buildup was insane. And it took you on a wild, wild ride. And I just wanted to keep reading, keep reading, keep reading. And by the time I got to part one, it started feeling like there was a light at the end of the tunnel, because each of the main characters begins uh, to amass a small group, even if it's just two people, because like your people are dying. Okay, this is the end of the world basically. I mean, at least from their perspective. Like I said, if you woke up and this was happening to you, you would think it was the end of the world. And it's so fulfilling when you get to the end of part one to see each group or each of these main characters build a group. And I am now a little bit into part two, and we don't get every single character building their little group in part one, because we do get some of that in part two, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I do the checkpoint for part two. But part one was just, I mean, you met a lot of people and most of them died. And then an honorable mention for what I believe to be antagonists that we meet in part one. The main antagonist is going to be Randall Flagg. So we meet him. We don't spend a whole lot of time with him, but we get to know right away that he is not the good guy. And then we meet another character. So yeah, when we got to know Randall Flagg, it was like, oh, okay. Oh, I see what's going on here. I see. I see. I see. And then we met someone who could possibly be an antagonist, just possibly. But I don't know. I'm gonna keep all the avenues open for this character, and his name is Lloyd. I think his name is Lloyd. Yeah, Lloyd Henreid. So that's pretty much everything that I've gathered in part one. Um, so yeah, I'm eating this book up. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I probably will finish it before um my 4 month little checkpoint that I had for it, or like the 4 month ceiling. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say about part one of The Stand. So I'll be back to do another checkpoint once I'm finished with part two. So yeah, that'll bring us to the end of the video. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And I hope you read a good book. And I'll see you soon. Bye.